This video will show you how to replace the front bumper cover on a Mazda 3. This will be mounted to the front of your vehicle. Let's get into it. Making our way underneath the front corner of the bumper cover, we're going to start dislodging this area. We'll start with this 8mm headed bolt on the forward shield and continue on along the corner. Continuing on, take hold of the forward panel and gently pull it down. That exposes one more 8mm headed bolt tucked up in this area. Now we can take hold of this. We're going to carefully pull it down and rearward towards our front tire, and then we can gain access behind the front bumper cover. Let's pause under this area and make our way towards the front wheel well. We have some push clips to remove. Now as you make your way up along this area, you're going to find that you have push clips that are holding the fender liner to your front bumper cover. We're going to dislodge those. For your push clips, typically you just try to remove the center to unlock it. Once you have it unlocked, you can remove the outer portion as well. For this, I'm using a trim tool. We can pull this aside. Now, right at the corner of the bumper cover, where it leads to your front fender, you're going to find a mounting bolt directly under this area, making its way straight up and through. Let's go ahead and remove that. We'll be using an 8mm. Now let's carefully separate this area. We don't want to cause any damage. You should be able to take hold of it by hand and lightly tug. At this point, we can make our way in and behind this area. You can either reach through here or you can make your way under. We have a wiring harness to dislodge. Now as we look up in this area, we can see our wiring harness leading up towards our directional. We'll disconnect our electrical connector. Now this does have a locking tab. Go ahead and squeeze that in and pull this out of place. Once you have it disconnected, a quick inspection for corrosion. That looks good. We're going to continue on by dislodging the rest of this wiring harness, making its way all the way over. Now as we make our way down here, we don't have to disconnect this electrical connector. We're going to dislodge the entire thing. Now this does have two locking tabs. Those will be accessed from the forward side of this, right along this area. To easily disconnect this, you could reach up with pliers or you could just use an 11mm socket. As far as that socket, we're going to slide it along those tabs, twist it until it presses them in, and we'll pull this out of place. Once I have it dislodged, I'll show you exactly what's happening here. Audible click, a light twist, slide it out of place. Up along the top, down along the bottom, that's those two tabs. I squeezed them in with this socket and I lightly twist it. Now we have our next electrical connector. In this instance, we do not have a fog lamp assembly, so this is attached directly to this area. Otherwise, if you had a fog lamp assembly, it's going to lead to a different connector. We have our locking tab along the bottom on this application, so I'm going to squeeze that in, pull that out of place. Now we have one more securing point all the way over in this far corner. Now for this mounting area, I'm going to be using a trim tool. You can use pretty much anything as a small prying device, flat blade screwdriver if necessary. Pull that right out of there. A quick inspection of that wiring harness, we're going to set that aside and we'll continue on. Now you need to make your way over to the other side of the vehicle and repeat this exact same process. Once you're done, you're down along the bottom of the front bumper cover. Okay, so we've got the wiring apart on the other side. Everything's broken free. Down along the bottom is where we're making our way across. As you start on either side of this area, you're going to find another push clip and then it moves into an 8mm headed mounting bolt next. Now we can take hold of the forward portion of this panel. Directly in the center, you can see where the panel goes up and above the bumper cover. We're going to carefully pull this rearward. Gently stretching it, we can slide this down. Now as we start pulling down on this shield, let's look up in this area. On each side of the vehicle, you're going to find another push clip. Same process, just go ahead and start removing the center. These are typically filled with sand. For that, I just use a tiny bit of parts cleaner to remove any debris. It should slide out of place. Let's do the same exact thing on the other side of the vehicle. This one over here. Here we are. At this point, we're done in this area. Let's make our way up to the top. Up inside the engine compartment, we want to dislodge the air intake. We don't need to fully remove it. We just need to remove the two 10mm bolts so we can lift this up, which is going to expose a push pin. There's that push pin. Now over in this area, we have a couple more push pins. Now we have two Phillips head screws to remove. As far as these two Phillips head screws, it's common for the one that's more inboard towards the engine compartment to be stuck in place with rust. You can use some penetrant as necessary. Now, as we make our way across the vehicle, there's going to be some push clips, but don't worry about any of that yet. Let's make our way to the far side first. Now, as we make our way back towards the center where we have all of those push clips, there's really only one more that we're going to be dealing with, and that's this one right here. While I'm doing this, I'm holding pressure on my front bumper cover towards the vehicle so it does not fall off. I don't want anything getting damaged. If your push clips happen to fall apart, you can just slide them back together, but leave it in the unlocked position. Now we're going to take hold of the front bumper cover. You have to gently lift up. We only want to stretch, but we do not want to damage. As you lift up, pull away. We'll make our way over to the other side and do the same thing. Remove the bumper cover from the vehicle. There it is, friend. A quick inspection and we'll set this aside. As we bring the front bumper cover over towards being in position, we need to pay attention along each side. We don't want to scuff our fenders. Assuming that looks good, we're going to continue along the center area. We have to make sure we lift the center up and over where our hood latch is, and also need to bring it underneath our air intake system here. Now, once you feel as though you have it in the proper position and you can install some mounting hardware, continue on with your mounting screws. Once you feel as though you have this up in place where you can start in your 4 Phillips head mounting screws, go ahead and start those in, but we are not snugging them yet. We have 2 on each side. Now that I have all those in, we're continuing on with some push pins. You can see why I had to leave those loose. We need to make sure we align our push pin ports next. For those push pins, we're driving in the outer portion, locking them in with the center. Continue on down the line. Keep in mind there is one underneath this area. We'll tighten those 4 mounting screws. We're going to reinstall our air inlet tube next. Start in those long 10mm headed mounting bolts, snug them up. Now we're making our way towards each side of the vehicle's wheel well. We're making our way over towards that wheel well, paying attention to the bumper cover in comparison to the bottom of our headlamp assembly and making its way across the fender. Once you feel as though you have it aligned, we're going to press that in. Make sure we have the fender liner out of the way. We have our 8mm headed mounting bolt that goes through the bumper cover into the front fender. Now this one's pretty much right about here. Confirming we're aligned, we'll snug it up. Make sure that that does not move around. It's still aligned. We'll continue on with the fender liner next. We have 3 push clips making their way down. We'll make sure that we tuck this behind the fender lip here. The rest of this is going to go along the outside of the bumper cover. We have our 3 push clips for this. Just go ahead and line them up. You know what to do. Press it in the center there to lock it down. Now, of course, we have to do the same to the other side, but let's make our way under the front corner. Under the front corner, let's get this wiring harness secured. We're going to take this black connector, leads over to this area. Make sure it's facing the right direction. We'll bring this up, press that in. Lock and tab. Line it up, press it in. Double check to make sure everything's secured in place. It's time for the corner plastic. We'll bring this into position. We're going to make sure we align all the areas for our mounting bolts. You're going to have to tug this. Once you do have it positioned, you can start in the mounting bolts. We have all 3 of those started in. As you remember, there is another one that's tucked into this area, so we can flex this panel down, and we'll install that mounting screw as well. There's that one. Now let's make our way to the outer corner. We'll press this up. Now we'll pull this down. We're looking up in this area. We need to align it and install our push clip. Just come in at an angle if necessary. We're pressing up, locking it in. Do the same on both sides and we'll continue on with our panel. Let's get the screw in this panel as well. Now this whole corner is done. We're going over to the other side of the vehicle to repeat the exact same process, and then we're along the center of the front bumper cover. Along the front area here, we have the very center. We're going to gently flex this, and I'm sliding it above the front bumper cover. Now that we have that pressed up, we should have a bolt port here, and then a push clip port, making our way towards the outside of each side of this shield. I'm going to go ahead and put in the push clip first, line it up, lock it down. Let's get that 8mm headed bolt in next. Double check all the way across, confirming everything's properly secured, and we'll make our way out from under the vehicle. Okay, friend, we finished our installation. You're going to take the vehicle for a road test and just listen for any odd noises coming from along the front of the vehicle. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.